From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. The United States Supreme Court deadlocked 4-4 on whether to approve the nation's first publicly funded religious charter school on Thursday, leaving intact a lower ruling that voided the Oklahoma school's contract. The judgment is affirmed by an equally divided court, the court wrote in a one-sentence, unsigned opinion. Only 8 justices sat for the case since Justice Amy Coney Barrett recused herself. The decision lets stand a ruling from the Oklahoma Supreme Court rejecting the bid to establish St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School, which spurred a major constitutional battle over the role of religion in state-funded education. The deadlocked opinion from the nation's highest court landed swiftly just weeks after the justices heard the case at the end of April. It marks the culmination of a multi-year, high-profile legal battle over religious rights that began after the Oklahoma statewide charter school board approved St. Isidore's contract. Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond led the fight against the school, bringing the case directly to the state's top court and winning. Both the charter school and St. Isidore then appealed to the nation's top court, saying the opinion was riddled with missteps. James Campbell, the attorney who argued on behalf of the charter school board, said in a statement that Thursday's decision was disappointing, but stressed the court could still return to the issue in the future. At the crux of the dispute was whether the school could be considered a state actor. The school argued its case was no different than recent ones from Maine, Montana, and Missouri, where the justices said state programs that fund private education cannot carve out religious schools. Drummond's office asserted the dispute fell into another line of Supreme Court precedent, where the court has long held that states can require their public schools to be secular. In U.S. budget news from Congress, House Republicans early Thursday took a major step toward President Donald Trump's agenda, approving a legislative package that combines tax breaks, spending cuts, border security funding, and other priorities. Republicans made one last round of revisions before the bill reached the House floor, boosting the state and local tax deduction to win over centrists and speeding up the work requirements in Medicaid to win over those who didn't believe the bill did enough to curb spending. Republicans look to make permanent the individual income and estate tax cuts passed in Trump's first term in 2017, plus enact promises he made on the 2024 campaign trail to not tax tips, overtime, and interest on some auto loans. To partially offset the lost revenue, Republicans propose repealing or phasing out more quickly the clean energy tax credits passed during Joe Biden's presidency, helping to bring down the overall cost of the tax portion to about $3.8 trillion. The bill includes a temporary boost in the standard deduction, a $1,000 increase for individuals, bringing it to $16,000 for individual filers, and a $2,000 boost for joint filers, bringing it to $32,000. The deduction reduces the amount of income that is actually subject to income tax. There is also a temporary $500 increase in the child tax credit, bringing it to $2,500 for 2025 through 2028. It then returns to $2,000 and will increase to account for inflation. The real estate tax exemption rises to $15 million and is also adjusted for inflation going forward. And in education news, a federal judge on Thursday blocked President Donald Trump's executive order to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education and ordered the agency to reinstate employees who were fired in mass layoffs. The administration said it would challenge the ruling. U.S. District Judge Myung Jeon in Boston granted a preliminary injunction stopping the Trump administration from carrying out plans announced in March that sought to work toward Trump's goal to shut down the department. It marks a setback to one of the Republican president's campaign promises. The ruling came in 2 consolidated lawsuits that said Trump's plan amounted to an illegal closure of the education department. One suit was filed by the Somerville and East Hampton school districts in Massachusetts, along with the American Federation of Teachers and other education groups. The other suit was filed by a coalition of 21 Democratic attorneys general. That's the news for this hour. Download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you when you are on the go. Up next is the Meadville area weather forecast on PEP Radio.